Hi students, I'm Louise. Today I will be talking about how to reduce stress in your life. Now, I know many of you are thinking like that's not possible. It's very stressful being a student. I understand. I've been a tutor for 20 years. I know what you're going through. So it's important to manage this stress because if you don't, then it becomes harder to function. It becomes harder to produce quality work. I'm going to give you some suggestions and I hope some of them will be helpful. You're probably aware that meditation, yoga, exercise, spending time in nature can be helpful, and they are. So explore those activities because I think they might help you when you're feeling overwhelmed in your life. Something else that might be helpful is to declutter your environment. Now, some of you may be comfortable living in a mess, and that's okay. But if you find yourself overwhelmed and feeling frustrated in your environment, it might be a good idea to declutter because when you declutter your environment, sometimes it's easier to function in that environment. One thing you can do when you're feeling overwhelmed is to take a step back and change your perspective. Go out for a walk, go into another room, and start thinking about your life in broader terms. Look at the big picture. Look at everything that's great about your life. Because when we do that, that one problem that we're dealing with doesn't seem so bad anymore. So it's a really good idea to change your perspective sometimes when you're feeling stuck in a moment and you don't know what to do. Don't stay there. Get out of there and do something that will change your perspective and change your ideas. And then you'll be able to come back to the situation and you'll be able to find solutions more easily. Most of us are detail oriented. So we're not thinking of the big picture. We're thinking of one thing at a time. But if you shift and take a step back sometimes and look in more abstract terms, this is a good way to reduce stress because nothing seems so overwhelming. When you look at the whole picture, then one single problem or one frustrating moment is not that significant in the grand scheme of things. Something else that's very important is creating lists. Now, this may seem kind of boring. Many of you are probably, the spontaneous type. It's a great quality. But when you're a student, it's a good idea to be organized because you have so much going on. It's hard to keep track of everything. I recommend preparing a long-term list, which will have the big picture, which will have your assignments from here until the end of the semester. It will have all your other commitments, and you keep adjusting it every week. Now, when you see all this, the big picture, then you feel more in control because it doesn't seem so huge. You can see it all together, and it's easier then to start getting things done. Now, the second list I recommend preparing is a short-term list. I think it's a good idea to prepare this the night before, and you write down all the tasks that you will accomplish the next day. Now, be realistic. Don't put too much, but put enough that you are making progress every day. Those big tasks that you have on your long-term list, break them down and do a little bit every day. Gradually, you will get these large projects done. It's much more manageable this way than to leave everything to the last minute and stay up all night and finish that research paper. Many students do this, and I've done it myself. But I'm suggesting that you start to change that and start to be more disciplined and get things done before you have to do them. So when you're listing the things that you will accomplish tomorrow, start early tomorrow. Start in the morning. Maybe do something before your class. Do something between classes. Try to be very efficient with your time so that later in the day, you'll have time for yourself and for your friends and to play and to do whatever you want to do. So try to become more organized in your life. I'm telling you, it will reduce your stress level and you can relax because you know that you've got it all covered and you're not going to miss any deadlines. If you're more organized and you get things done early, then I think that you'll see an improvement in your marks. So I highly recommend it. Another thing that's very important in your life is to trust your intuition. Now, you may be wondering, what does this have to do with stress? Well, when we trust our intuition, we can prevent stressful situations from happening in the first place. This can be very important in new relationships or even current relationships, in new situations. Our intuition is that little voice that tells us something is not right. So many people don't trust their intuition, and it makes me wonder, why not? I mean, if this ability weren't important, then why would we have it in the first place? Now, you don't want to mix up intuition with personal feelings. Pure intuition is more objective. It's not about judging somebody, it's about what's there. And that's usually in the form of energy. So our feelings get mixed up in there, and we judge, or we fear people, or we expect things from people, then that's more about us. So that's not intuition. Pure intuition is usually right. We get the information, but it's based on something that we sense. You have to trust just that natural, objective, intuitive side. Now, once you start feeling more comfortable with your intuition, pay attention to it. If you're even in your current relationships, you might have some intuitive insight about something that doesn't feel right. And if you meet somebody new, you might also have intuitive insight into what kind of person this is. Have you ever met somebody and you didn't trust that person? You didn't know why, but there was just a feeling that you had that you didn't trust that person. And then later you realize that you were right. What was that? It's intuition. Don't reject something that's so natural and part of you. Why? I mean, it's important. It can help you to make decisions. It can help you to perhaps choose the right directions in your life. You don't have to tell anybody what it's telling you, but it will provide new insight, and it will just give you more information than what you have already. Sometimes there's no other information to go by other than your intuitive insight. I believe that our intuition is there to protect us and to warn us of potential harm. Now, it's not always, so very dramatic, but it's just an ability that we have that's in addition to everything else. It doesn't mean that you have to change your whole course of action, but at least you'll have information that you can consider and be more cautious or be more perceptive. So you want to explore these feelings when you have them, because it could be telling you something very important and something that will prevent a lot of stress in your life. Something else that I think that might be very helpful when you're feeling overwhelmed and you have a lot of stress in your life is to turn to the arts. Watch a movie, read a literary work, short story, a novel, listen to some music, go see a play. Artistic works have a way of reaching us very deeply. They have a way of moving us. They have a way of making us think in new ways. Reading a short story, for example, can change your perspective for the day. It can be so powerful. Have you ever read the story "And of Clay Are We Created" by Isabel Allende, or That Evening Sun by William Faulkner? They make you think, and they make you feel that, I when I read the both of those stories, I was thinking about them for many days afterwards. This is what literary works can do. They can reach you, they can move you, they can make you think about life in a different way. When you escape for a little while and you immerse yourself in an artistic work, then when you come back, you may find new ways to deal with the situation that you're in, or you may feel differently. Do you remember when you were a child and you went to see your favorite movie for the first time? How did you feel when you came out of the theater? Now, it's true that not all films are very artistic. Action films, even though they're great for escaping, it's like a roller coaster ride. But I'm talking about artistic films, films that make you feel something or that make you think deeply. Stress has a way of consuming us. So what you want to do is to step back. So either you're looking at the big picture, or you're immersing yourself in a different setting, which could be something artistic. Even better would be to engage in creative activity yourself. Now, you don't have to be some great artist to be creative. You can, just do something that interests you, that is an expression of some kind, and that makes you feel good. It can help you to express whatever you're feeling. It can help you to feel free. It's so beneficial to do something creative. And I think many people don't do this enough in their lives. Everything is routine. Creativity is one of the most amazing things in the world. So try to explore your creative abilities. Now, I know that many of you are digital natives, which is a term used to describe people in the younger generation who have been exposed to technology their whole lives, basically. So many of you are very creative already, and that's wonderful. Keep doing what you're doing, keep being creative, because I think in future employment, this will be very important. So don't forget about being creative. It can change your perspective for a while, and then when you come back to whatever you were doing, you'll see everything with fresh eyes, and this will help you to feel more relaxed and to find solutions when you couldn't find them before. Now, if you have a problem in your life that you don't know how to solve, then it might be a good idea to reach out to somebody. Talk to somebody that you trust and respect, because this might help you to find solutions. Sometimes somebody that's looking at the situation objectively can provide excellent suggestions on what you can do to, resolve whatever issues you have. And you might feel relieved just talking about this, because sometimes, like, keeping everything in your head, you can't really see straight. So it's a good idea to talk to somebody, to write it out, anything that gets it out of you and enables you to look at the situation a little bit more objectively. Often, though, you will find that the answers are within yourself. Now, when you're feeling frustrated and you just can't function anymore, then take a break and look inside and ask yourself, what do I need? Be kind to yourself. It's so important when you're feeling overwhelmed to treat yourself in a gentle way. Always stay true to yourself. It's the most important thing of all. Now, I'd like to tell you about this book that I wrote. It's on Amazon Kindle and will soon be in paperback version. So I wrote it with first-year students in mind, but I think it can help all undergraduate students. I've been working with students for 20 years, and I've learned a lot about what students go through and what they need. And so I think that you'll find many things that are very helpful in the book. So thanks for dropping by today. I will see you next time. I wish you the best. I wish you low stress days. And when you have stress in your life, try to channel it in ways that will benefit you. So whether it's exercising or doing meditation or talking to people or engaging in a creative activity, anything, keep searching for ways that will help you to feel better.